A 38-year-old man has a normal life, but gets sick of working, so he retires to the countryside to work and live as peacefully as possible while watching isekai anime. But suddenly, he is transported to another world to live his own isekai story. Luckily for him, like every protagonist who goes to an isekai, he can open the stats panel, and he can't believe it. The most epic part is that he can immediately store objects in his inventory. Then he gets hungry, so he sees a sword stuck in a skeleton and sells it to buy food. Feeling grateful, he buries the skeleton since it allowed him to eat. Later, through his efforts, he obtains a mountain bike, a compass, a monocle, and milk, all by selling things he finds in that place. By sunset, he has bought all kinds of things and enjoys a delicious dinner. However, to his bad luck, beasts surround him. He throws fireworks at them, but when that doesn't work, he buys a slingshot and uses it to scare them off. For added safety, he flees on his bike. The next morning, he wakes up in the middle of the forest, buys a ladder, and uses the monocle to spot the walls of a kingdom in the distance. Hours later, he reaches a road where a young man offers him a free ride to the city. The young man introduces himself as Fuyu and says he's a merchant, while the protagonist introduces himself as Kenichi. Riding with them is a beautiful woman who doesn't reveal her name. As they continue their journey and discuss business, the mysterious woman magically makes an instrument called a lute appear and sings about Kenichi, the mysterious adventurer. Later, Kenichi helps Fuyu unload his goods, and as thanks for the free ride, Kenichi gives him some pepper. Fuyu gets scared, telling him it's illegal for unofficial entities like them to sell pepper because a company has a monopoly on spices. Fuyu adds that he doesn't like accepting things for free, so he pays Kenichi for the pepper. But after doing the math, Kenichi realizes that the pepper he gifted was worth 100,000 yen, and Fuyu only gave him 50,000 yen. Quite the clever young man. Later, Kenichi enters a hotel and says he'll stay the night, but the girl tells him he should learn the local language since he can't read or write in this world. They strike a deal. She'll teach him the language, and he'll give her sweets from a faraway land, specifically from another world. These sweets are common in Japan, but according to the girl, they're considered royal delicacies in this world. The girl, named Azalea, warns that if people discover she has such sweets, they'll take them away. So, he spends time studying with her. One day, she strikes a provocative pose and suggests he become her lover. Kenichi sketches her like Jack drew Rose in Titanic, and apparently, things happen that night. The next day, Kenichi goes to register at the guild, which costs 100,000 yen. They give him an emblem that he must wear visibly while doing business. Since the guild here is solely for trade permits, Kenichi uses it to buy various fruits to test which ones sell best. He takes one of the fruits to Azalea and then falls asleep. The next morning at the market, he sets up his business, with Azalea accompanying him. She's amazed by the clothes pegs he uses, as in this world, they use fragile, outdated ones. Kenichi gives her some pegs as a gift. Kenichi finds a better spot for his stall near an elderly woman. She likes the pegs too and buys some to resell. They spend the day selling, and the elderly woman thanks Kenichi because his many customers are also bringing business to her. He reveals that he sold 15,000 yen worth of pegs in just a few hours, and remarks that he could make a living just by selling pegs, though he's sure imitators will appear over time. Later, a wealthy-looking man examines one of Kenichi's knives and requests a larger one. Using his Japanese inventory panel, Kenichi buys a sword, but sets a high price for it. At that moment, a catwoman appears and licks him, only to be scolded by her male cat companions. They want to buy the cloak Kenichi uses for his business, or rather, 3 cloaks, and Kenichi charges a fair price. Still, the cat people suspect he's cheating them, but the wealthy man assures them Kenichi is honest, convincing them. The elderly woman tells Kenichi that beastmen are bad at math. Later, the wealthy man buys the sword. Kenichi takes a bath, heating water in a barrel he bought from Japan. As he relaxes, he wonders how he ended up in this world, and why he can buy things in Japan and bring them here. Meanwhile, a young child kills a bird, cooks it over a fire, and wishes they could someday fill their belly. If you made it to this part of this video, comment the word Anigoat, subscribe, and remember, I upload 3 videos daily. I'll be waiting for you in all 3.